Just three regular guys with a podcast.
Why is it a big deal, though? Like, I don't understand why. Like, what is...
Because I didn't think you knew anybody.
Who can laugh at each other's expense.
And right there, my knee was just...
Who have the utmost confidence in each other's athletic abilities.
Sub 5.
You're a sub 5 on one of them little tricycles with the little bleep bleep air horns on the...
And whose guests absolutely love joining them on the show.
What are your thoughts on that?
You got some nerve really asking me.
The Choopin' It Up podcast starts in 3, 2, 1.
Thomas,
Hooper.
this feels a little weird, huh?
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
It's like we're starting all over.
This is a great truck that we just have in your driveway here. We're switching.
Just found one.
Just found a truck.
We got a
Experiment.
little different stage. I had a little bit of water when the what was that storm that came through over the weekend?
I could see that you were safe.
About
though,
an inch or so of water in the garage. So
I could see you used the pool rafts
we had the rafts
to float to
navigate.
safety. Yep, that was nice.
Should have seen me. I was doing a nice job. I was in my boxer shorts and a white undershirt out in front in the pouring rain.
Oh my God! I think you just got us. I think you just got us 27 followers.
Absolutely. if they ever found video of that.
Oh God! If you only had security camera.
Cleaning the drain.
So, for those of you watching on YouTube, you could see that there are only two of us. For those of you listening via Spotify or your favorite podcast platform, there are only two of us.
Yeah. One. The other one decided he's got a lot better things to do.
Yeah.
So
partying on a patio instead of sitting on the back.
I don't
of a
know.
truck.
Maybe we need a break from him. I don't know.
Maybe we need a break for him, but I think we have just the guy. Back by popular demand, a fill-in real quick. He filled in, short notice.
Yeah.
Can't appreciate him enough. Let's bring him on.
Here comes the money. Here we go.
Come on in, man. Come on in.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
The money.
My favorite, Steven. How are you?
Good.
Wow, that's harsh. That is harsh.
Oh, God. What the hell is this music?
This is the theme song that he picked himself.
I did not pick this.
You did.
You can't pick your own theme music.
I did not.
I mean, this is it because hopefully he brings. I mean, we know he brings Mark Avellino to the show, right?
Yeah. Shout out to Av.
Av's a listener because of Steve Galli. Hopefully he brings the money to the show. We get some sponsorship. We got a great one today. Great shirt you're wearing there.
Yeah, Clark sponsorship.
Are you? You're just he's sponsored by him.
I'm
Right,
just well, my team's sponsored, but
Team sponsor
I'm
number
pretty
12.
impressed with that bat, though, with your name on it.
yeah.
It's a nice
There
bat.
it is.
It's a nice bat for free. Is that team issued? All the guys on the team got a.
Nope.
Nope, just Steve.
Nope.
Just the Steve Galli.
Just Steve.
Does it say Steve Galli, Steven Galli? What?
Steve Galli.
Steve Galli.
I mean,
Did you ever hit a ball with it?
Yeah, a couple balls I hit with
Really?
it. I let Ethan Hasenhall use it.
good.
That's
Glad
why
it
it's
didn't-
marked up.
Glad it
Every
didn't
time he
break.
gets up to bat, it was like Mike, where the kid, Bow Wow used to tie his shoes, make me like Mike. He goes, make me hit like Steve.
Now, I'll be honest. I was when I knew that you were going to be on. Either way, you were going to be the fourth guest. We were going to bring you in as a co-host, fourth co-host, guest co-host. But I knew we were going to do the Clark thing, the Clarky Bat Co. So I started looking at the Facebook page. He does some nice work.
Oh yeah,
He was doing. I saw some prep brats that prep baseball got for their seniors last year. I might have to get like a Choop Sports bat, two of them, one that I could actually use.
Doesn't Crope do that for seniors?
He
Does
does.
Use
I
Clark
don't-
or
Pierce-
not?
No, I think he-
Piercy did that.
I think
Yeah.
Piercy did that.
I don't think
I know
Crope-
North Pocono girls softball did that.
Are
You know the coach up there?
Do you know the coach?
I know the coach.
Are you going to be a coach? I heard some things.
There's talks. There's talks.
You're
Negotiating, talking to his
negotiating.
agent.
Yeah, they're talking to my agent right now. As long as it doesn't conflict with my slow pitch softball.
I thought you were going
that's
to
a
say
big-
FedEx, but I guess slow pitch softball is another one.
It's another one. No, that's come
I'm
on.
getting lost.
Priorities here,
I
bud.
might be on
Right.
Team USA next year by this time.
Team USA slow pitch softball.
Yeah.
Priorities. Although that's a sharp.
Priority. Unlike your
Go America.
other co-host who
Right.
missed this podcast to be
Yeah.
not here, party on the patio.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's an
I
audition.
mean, I wish
but,
I was. I wish I was at party on the patio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully
Instead,
it's-
you're sitting in your
hopefully it's a
driveway
good
with
band.
us.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a good band.
I hope so.
I mean, it's no Jimmy Reynolds.
No, Jimmy Reynolds.
I heard up at the school on Monday, one of the in-service days, Dave Rebar and Jimmy Reynolds are playing live music for about an hour or two around lunchtime.
Can I
I've just found that out via
Can I-
email this morning.
is there
I
any
get
way
the
that
invite?
is there any way I could?
Yeah, it's crashed a party. You crash every other one. Why?
I'm gonna be.
They'll
I'm
be
like,
at the field house lifting.
just gonna walk.
Come on, looking for a burger or
They'll be
something.
pushing the broom.
Where's it gonna be? Is it gonna be up in the auditorium? Where's it gonna be?
No, I guess all over the place. They're playing
No way.
a staff softball game. My daughter coming home from work right now. Staff softball game.
She's still working the sponsor.
Yes.
So where's she coming
today? Well, not
not
today.
today.
Not
Damn,
today.
okay.
Not
All
today.
right.
She
We
is
could
at-
just lie and say that she's coming back.
She does G&M snack bar down at Southside.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
no, it's what Idle. Is it Idle Hour South? or
South side, Idle Hour South.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
her South.
formerly known as Southside
Southside
Bowl.
Lanes, yeah.
That's what it'll always be. It's like Lackawanna being the student union. It's the CYC.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, there was a mosquito there. Got it. Don't worry, guys.
So, staff softball game. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, they're supposed to be all over the place, I guess, on campus. Grilling
Yeah.
out.
You need a
Mr. Cove, Mr. Kelly grilling. Man in the grill.
Cove's not.
Steve. Your audition's going really shitty right now.
I'm sorry. Edit that part
Man.
out.
we might have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll edit
yeah.
that part out. Yeah. All right. That's a
in
a
the-
letter grade down for the audition.
All
That's a
right.
demerit, bud.
I'm at an
mean,
A now. I was
Ta-
at A plus.
Tanner made it. This is like Rumco's report card. This
Tanner's
is like our
doing
own-
better at party in the patio right now than Steve is here.
Tanner made it through 20 episodes without having.
Ooh, do we have a Runco's report card? Have you talking to our boy Jonathan?
I haven't talked to him, man. I don't know. He's living it up. He was living off the land, touring the whole
Yeah, he was going to
country.
tell
I
us
don't-
about his little
Yeah.
rendezvous all over the place.
We're
right?
old. We're old news because we fell off and we haven't
Yeah.
been recording as much.
You know, I mean, again, it's one of the busiest times of the year.
for you, why? Why is that?
Football kicking off tomorrow.
Football, high school football,
Start of
kicking
school
off
next week.
tomorrow,
Wow.
Yeah.
wait, what?
Start of school on Wednesday.
Oh, on Wednesday. I thought you said
Yeah.
tomorrow. Like,
No,
what?
I said next week.
No, I said next week, Hoop. Come
Sorry.
on.
Jesus.
Sorry.
High school football. We got.
These garbage $200 headsets that you spent your stimulus on,
They're
just
not garbage. Shut up.
I think they're great headphones.
I got slapped
They work
in the
perfect.
face.
just not getting the job done.
We should kick
Yeah.
Hooper off.
We should.
Go ahead. Try to
Hooper-
to
Hooper-
produce this without me.
He'll be,
Go
he'll
ahead.
be the producer.
He'll
Go
just
ahead.
be producer.
We should have sent him to party in the patio.
Oh,
Just sent him to file.
He would have
the
sat.
audio
He
file,
would have
the
just.
video
He
file.
would have just stood there like this the whole time, hands crossed, sipping his amino acids.
Yeah.
He'd tell everybody it was.
It's fucking cranberry.
No,
Fuck us.
I'm not even like. All right, I'll go with it. Drawing a blank on what kind of
All right.
fruity drink.
Sex on the
Okay.
beach.
But
This is just sex on the beach. I told him don't put the umbrella on.
A,
I wanted to look a
a
little.
slippery nipple.
I brought my own cup. Brought my own cup. No big deal.
Sir, you can't be drinking that. I just got done working out, bud.
Yeah. Don't want to go catabolic right now. You know what I mean? You got to replenish.
Oh God.
The reason, well, Steve's here because we
I'm back
obviously,
by popular
yeah,
demand.
back by popular demand. That's a real thing.
Fans
Right.
wanted it.
Right.
But also because of the start of football season, we were supposed to, again, another thing where Tanner's really killing us because he had the guest.
Yes.
He had the guest,
He
and
was
then
supposed
he
to line up
just
the guest.
not
So-
only did he not bring the guest, he didn't bring himself. So that's kind of
He still might be out there. I don't even think he's at party on the patio. He might be in Moscow still delivering packages.
big day, right? First day
Yeah.
on his own.
First day on his own, he flew. He
And-
left the nest.
What do you mean on his own? Hasn't he been on his own? What does that mean?
I'm not gonna say it because
What
then
does he ride shotgun with you?
no, he does. He
Can't handle
You
that.
two would not get any work done at all.
Can't handle that.
I'd be showing him all the good spots to eat.
Yeah, obviously.
This is a softball body, bud.
Also, we got to bring it up
Huh?
now because by the time he comes back next week, if he even comes back next week, it'll be too far gone. But
Right.
goddamn kid hurting his little brother up the YMCA.
Yeah,
Jesus,
yeah.
man.
He needs an extra.
He needs an extra. His brother just gets done playing with some of the best players, sophomores and freshmen in the country.
Yep.
Matt takes him up to the YMCA. Kid sprains an ankle.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Matt, God.
Unbelievable.
Matt continues to forget that Gabe is not Matt's brother. Matt is Gabe's brother.
Yeah. and the sad thing is, when Gabe was probably hurt, all I could see is Matt yelling at him,
Yeah.
calling him a baby.
You're not hurt. Get up.
Yeah.
Get up.
Yeah.
Calling him, like, I'll just say baby now.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
he's
right.
probably using other words.
Yeah.
Definitely telling him he was soft.
Yeah.
You're soft. Don't be soft. Matt, I can't walk. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
But, Steve, you, like Tom said, high school football kicks off tomorrow.
Yeah.
You were a football coach. Coach.
On staff. Let's just say he's on staff.
I was
on
on
staff.
staff.
Fair.
I decided to go on staff to use the weight room.
It's true. I think that was the summer OWE, so that's when he was trying to get in shape. I do
Yeah.
remember that.
I think he used the weight room to get in to get a drink of water in the water fountain.
But I was in the best shape of my life.
What shape?
Round was the shape.
All right.
Yeah, I was the video guy. I was in that end zone
You were
camera.
the eye in the sky in the
Yeah.
end zone.
But, I mean, did you ever get asked, like, for input from Coach Rebar or anyone
No.
else?
No.
You were just the guy, like, oh,
Not once ever.
like, oh,
The input I got from Coach Rebar asking me input was, why is that camera not up?
I figured.
So when I started at FedEx, I had to like stop. I cut back on helping out, and I'm getting out. It's probably the first home game that they had, and Rebar's call, or I think Bohr was texting me. Was Bohr still on staff or no?
Yeah, I think when you were around, yeah.
But this is when I started at FedEx, when I couldn't do it anymore.
Oh.
And they had
Yeah,
someone else.
maybe not.
They had someone else, and
Yeah, because then you
I
have
was
one
getting-
year where you were just games, like you just filmed games, and then
Yeah.
you had like 2 years or a year where you were full on like their practice and everything.
I had 2 years where I was Zach Fumy's senior year. I was there, and then the year after, and then the following year, I got a job. I was working at FedEx, so it was tough to do it, and I was getting there. I was probably getting there by halftime to help out, but the one game I got a text.
I feel like I know where this is going.
I don't know who it was. I forget who texted me, but they're like, the camera's not up. I'm like, what's going on? It's 7 o'clock. They're like, they can't get it up. They keep taking it down, putting it up, taking it down. So I was like, God. So I'm texting whoever back and seeing stuff. Then I get a call from Rebar the next day. He's like, could you please come back? Like, help out. Help set it up. I'll have everything set up, this and that, and you could just go in the end zone and tape.
You know the old saying, monkeys messing around with footballs, right? That end zone camera was the football with all these monkeys. I have never seen such chaos surrounding one piece of equipment.
Now, there was one time, this might have been that same year or maybe the year after you were done. For whatever reason, he had Magic Rob filming, man in the end zone cam. And he
out. Were you
came
there?
in. We were, so that was one of the years. I think that might have been the first year I was doing the chains. Come in at halftime. I'm in the trainer's room. Rob comes in like looking like he was going to shit himself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on, man? He's like, I was filming, but like it didn't film anything for the first half. He's like, I think Rebar's gonna kill me. I'm like, yeah, he probably is. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh yeah.
He would, yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, I would just leave. Like, just sorry, and just never come back.
You remember the Dunmore game when it like went down, the camera like fell down in the playoffs the one year, and Bohr was sitting out in the end zone with me, and Bohr looks at me and goes, "Yo, Rebar wants to talk to you." And Rebar ripped me a new one. I was like, Dave, I don't know what happened. Like, I put it up and it just fell down. Like, because those things, like, you tighten it as much as possible, and once it gets up in that air, it's on its own.
I mean, a little gust of wind might knock it over. It might not be sturdy.
It's in God's hands at that point.
You remember?
Jesus, take the wheel.
You're right.
Remember the first time they got it, and they didn't put the cover on it, and they were just going, and it poured.
Yeah. I'm telling you, that thing went through the ringer.
who was it? Was it Ray that set it up and never put the cover on it? So
Here's the cool one. Ray spent about 9-10 hours reading the manual, looking up video like on YouTube to try to get this thing.
Yeah.
It was like a doctoral experiment for him.
Yeah, and like Rebar came up to me and Rebar's like, "Oh, I'm like, can't be that tough."
Right.
I skimmed through the manual. I was like, "Okay, I got it." Ray's like me and Ray are setting it up in the weight room, just not like we're putting it up, setting it up, getting ready. Ray looks at me and goes, "Now you got to." I said, "Ray, we're fine. Like everything's good." And he kept going, "No, you got to do the YouTube show." And he has the YouTube video playing and this and that.
What
God!
happened there?
Oh boy!
What happened?
Oh boy. Down video. You guys keep going.
All right.
Yeah, Ray kept going on and stuff and saying, and I'm like, Ray, it's really not that tough.
Right.
But when he put that up without the thing on and it downpoured and ruined the camera,
Yeah.
like that was a bad one.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't good.
Yeah, I don't.
How about what? Yeah, I know, but I'm looking at you. I want to see what kind of magic you're going to do with this video.
See, we're talking about
He's
the
got
end zone camera. Do you want me to come back there? I'm a camera guy.
He is the camera guy. Imagine if the end zone camera had that goofy thing on there
Oh,
with
God.
the fur right there that he's got.
My biggest thing with that end zone camera,
Yeah.
standing back there, were field goals. Like I was
getting smoked with a ball.
I was waiting. Like every game, I was like, all right, this is definitely going to be a one. Never got hit with the football,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
Because if I was a high school kid and I was kicking field goals,
You're
I'd
trying
be
to hit the
aiming
thing.
for that.
Right.
Like, and if I didn't, even if I made the field goal, I'd still be mad because I didn't hit the end zone camera.
Yeah. I'm the guy that offers the kid $25 if he hits it. You know.
Yeah, I would be like, hey, bud, here you go. I'd even.
$100 to hit certain someone with that.
I'd even.
I never talked about it.
I'd even be like, tell the QB, do a play, just try to hit the end zone camera.
Like Varsity Blues.
Yeah.
The guy on the horse.
Oh God. I can't believe we ruined
So
this.
we get this video up. We'll call our guest that I got on since I saved the day instead of Tanner. After Tanner bailed on us.
Tanner bailed. Can't believe it. So, how was your day at work today since the camera's down?
We had a lightning delay. In the on campus for about 45 minutes.
There was lightning here?
Yeah, we got a couple strikes here or there up over towards the Valley View area that we saw, and we had to shut down for a couple minutes. Had a tennis match going on that ended up getting postponed and canceled halfway through. Huh?
I can't believe this. He buys that
Yeah.
expensive camera and it shuts off middle of the.
Yeah, with a furry microphone on the
Yeah.
top of it.
This is unbelievable.
I mean, it is unbelievable. But
Do we have to restart the whole thing? Because I could do my entrance better.
I mean, that entrance was pretty good.
I'll come in. I have the baby oil in the truck. I'll take the shirt off, oil all up. I'll be like a professional wrestler.
Lather right up.
Yeah.
But the entrance was fine.
Hoop will
You
just-
didn't get to hear the
You
this
stuck-
Shane O'Mac.
You stuck the landing. You were good.
You were fine.
Yeah.
Hoop, you'll just have to rub it in on my back for me.
So, you ready? I'm going to send them your number to text or to call you.
Yeah, go ahead, bud.
All right. So, we're getting a buddy of mine, Matt Sweet, his name is, was a
Dude, you're not going to build them up like I normally build our guests up?
no. He's a graduate assistant trainer with me up at Syracuse.
Probably knows more than Tom does.
He does. He is a lot smarter than I am.
Could I ask him some questions about my shoulder that I hurt in Turkey Bowl?
I have another buddy to get you for a shoulder. Remind me another day down the road if you really want to talk shoulders.
So if you ask Matt here, he's not going to be able to.
Oh, he'll help you.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, I want it. That's good conversation. I think.
Yeah.
Like I got hit. I have
Yeah.
a bruise. I have a bruise. Maybe. Probably just call me a pansy or something like that.
This one could be. Yeah. He probably is. There he is already. Quick. He's
Quick on the trigger. Syracuse, New York.
Matthew.
Yes, sir.
What's up, sweet? How are you?
How you doing?
Not bad. Thanks for taking the call.
No problem.
I got my I got two Steves here, so it's real easy.
Yes.
Since you already know the other bonehead Steve that I hang out with, unfortunately. But
I wouldn't even say you hang out with that one.
no, not either the two of you. Don't worry about
I'm
it.
better than that one.
But these are two of my Mid Valley guys. You and I have talked that we do the podcast a little bit, so we figured with football season right around the corner, we kick off our high school season tomorrow. Your Steelers are going to start here in a few weeks. Your Seminoles, the Orange, we'd get you on the call.
Sounds good.
You know, what's going on up there, up in Cuse? Anything?
Not a whole lot. The Syracuse isn't looking that good. They have two quarterbacks, which means they have no quarterback. So,
so I have my season tickets. Steve here, Steve Galli, has he scooped up two of my the allotment that I have. So he's going to make a few trips up to the dome, the new renovated dome.
Got renovated.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get pushed in by the air pressure anymore or pushed out.
Yeah.
That was the best part.
Yeah. Speaking, well, since we're gonna dive right into this, Sweet, give us your dome air pressure door story.
So there was a airlock that we used to go into in order to get into the staff side of things, and for some reason, in the infinite wisdom of Syracuse, they used to put a security guard.
Right inside the door.
Yeah, inside the door, right? And sometimes she'd be inside the airlock, and sometimes she'd be outside the airlock. I don't know what the rhyme or reason of where they were. So we show up to get the dome ready for the game. I think it was a Friday.
Yeah.
So we're getting in there, and we get told under no circumstances could we go into the dome. And I'm like, well, we're sitting there at the security end. I'm like, why? And they're like, well, because the chancellor's here. And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, as if it was the president of the United States. And I was like, no, you don't understand.
We're going to get in trouble.
Yeah. If we go back and say we didn't go in there, we're in trouble. And the security guard proceeded to tell us, I don't care who you are. It does not matter. And I said, no, but it does. And so I'm pretty mad. But at no point am I thinking what's going to happen is going to happen. So she opens up the one door to the airlock, and we go in there, and then she follows. And why she follows, I'm not sure, because unless you were going to leave the dome, there's no reason you would want to be in that airlock.
Right.
Well, then we go outside that airlock.
So let me describe the airlock for these guys in case, right? So it's essentially a set of double doors, right?
Okay.
So you have an exterior door, and then probably, I don't know what, 10, 12 feet in front of you, there's another door.
Maybe like 8 to 10 feet.
Yeah, so you're in like a little foyer when the two doors are closed and you're inside, right? And you couldn't open both doors at the same time, right? You had to open the first one, everybody's in, you're in that spot, it's locked. Now you could open the second door to get in, right? So we're going the opposite way. We're
right.
At that point you're leaving, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
So then I proceed to shut the door. I don't really think much of it, like at the time. And so we go march into the car. I'm still pretty fuming. And we get back to the office, and I open up the door, and Tim gives me the look over the desk, and he goes, Jack Russell, get in here. now
this is only like a 3-minute ride back to the field house.
Yeah, right. He calls me Jack Russell because he said I was very frenetic. But it was
a little bit
because he had me running around with like a chicken with his head cut off, because I was never doing the right thing, and it wasn't due to my lack of understanding.
Right.
But so I get in there, and he goes, can you tell me why in the holy hell you would slam a door so hard that you would blow a woman's eardrum out. And I looked at him and I'm like, what are you talking about? Are you going to tell me you didn't slam a door so hard that you didn't injure one of the Dome employees? I'm like, Tim, I know nothing about that. And he's like, the hell I just got off the phone with Pete Sala, and he says that you hurt one of his security guards so bad she's being rushed to the ER with a bleeding ear. And I'm like, what? At no point did I think, like, at no point where we stopped at the Dome, like, thinking something had happened, right?
Right.
Clearly we're medical personnel. We'd be the first to deal with it, right?
Right.
But no. So he goes, do you realize what I had to do to clean this up? I'm like, clean what? I don't even know what happened. Like, I feel like I had been like set up.
Didn't you have to go to the office?
So then he goes, well, looks like you're gonna have to pay the piper. Like, so you're gonna head down to Jake's office, Jake Krauthamel, who was basically like, if you've ever seen a movie of an administrator that probably looks like Satan himself, it would probably be him. And so I have to march myself up there, right? And I go, well, what do I say to him? I need you to say you're sorry for embarrassing the athletic program. I'm like, okay. So I go up there and I'm like, geez, oh man, I can't believe I got to face this guy. So I walk in his office, and you can the old smoke odor.
Right. This guy smoked cigarettes one after the other.
Oh God,
Like,
he's one of those people.
They actually, when he left athletics, they literally knocked down the wing he was in.
Right.
I'm dead serious. So I walk in there, he's got a cigarette lit. And
In 2003.
Yeah, and he looks up at me and he goes, how can I help you? And I was like, Mr. Krauthamel, I'm really sorry. Apparently somebody got hurt today. And due to my actions, I'm really sorry for that. I apologize for embarrassing the athletics program. And there was like what felt like 5 minutes. There was about a 5-second hold there. And I go, and he goes, okay, thank you, son. And looks down.
So that even now looking back, that just blows my mind. Like, here's the athletic director at Syracuse, right? A Power 5 school, and Sweet's got to go in front of him over to the dome door, but allegedly blowing out somebody's eardrum, like he just killed somebody. It was amazing.
Because they stood in an airlock.
Right. Yeah.
Now, based on how you described that, do you think that this athletic director had any idea what you were talking about?
No.
Not a clue.
Sorry, sir.
Tim, our head trainer, he definitely set him up.
I'm not even sure Jake was a real human being. I think it's possible he was sent from the future and just wore the skin of an old man.
So I was telling these guys, you did your undergrad days down at Florida State.
They did.
You were with Coach Bowden, right?
Yeah, I was down there in the, I guess, well, the high and the low of the Bowden days, right? My freshman year, we won the national title. I was not with athletics at that point, but I was a fan. Like, I hadn't even been a Florida State fan, to be honest. I was a Penn State fan, right?
Poor guy.
And I go there because Penn State wanted me to pay some ungodly amount to go there, and I was like, well, I got in free to Florida State. So yeah, I went there, and it was possibly the most eye-opening athletics I've ever seen. Like, the athletes we had at the time were probably some of the best in the country. I mean, Peter
who's
Ward,
I was gonna say, who's the best kid that you had on the team
Peter
when
Ward
you
was
worked
the
with?
best. Lavernius Coles.
Ooh, Lavernius.
Yep. We had Chris Winkie, our old man quarterback.
Yeah.
We had Sebastian Janikowski.
Ooh.
And then when I joined the next year, which would have been my sophomore year, so that was a national title year, but I wasn't there until the spring.
Uh-huh.
So the upperclassmen were on their way out. Winkie was in his last year, which was like his millionth year there.
He's like, what, 26 then?
Yeah, well, so that guy was such a baller. He used to arrive
You just said baller.
in limos.
Really?
Yeah, he'd rent a limo.
So was he like the Van Wilder of Florida State back in your day
Well,
there?
think about it, right?
Yeah.
So he has Syracuse ties, actually.
Really?
He played for the Chiefs.
Oh, right, because he was in professional baseball.
Yeah, so he made his
Okay,
money.
right.
And imagine if you went to college with a couple $100,000.
Yeah, true.
That is a good way, though.
I mean,
Renting limo, showing up.
Yeah. Like
yeah, I remember my freshman year, I sold my Sugar Bowl tickets. We bought, like, you get them on a lotto.
Uh-huh.
Like, you like apply.
How much did you make on them?
Lotto. Huh?
How much did you get for them?
So I paid $120 and I made $400.
Damn.
That's
Yeah,
It's a
because
good
me and my
deal.
buddy we won them
return.
and we got them at the same time, so we had a pair.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, they were. And then the next year I sold my Orange Bowl tickets for $50 less. So not bad.
$50 less than the year before, or $50 loss on the ticket?
No, $50 less than the year before.
All right.
So, yeah.
I
But the
know
funny
you're not
part-
right, but
No, but the funny part is I don't even know if I had enough money in my account to cover it. Like,
selling Orange Bowl tickets for grocery money.
I mean, seriously.
Gotta do what you gotta do, man.
My mom goes, "Where'd you get that money?" And I go,
Don't worry about it.
I don't even know if I had it.
You
I think I took it out of my loan money.
You were well before your time. You had an NIL deal
Yeah.
lined up. So the question I have for you, right,
Yeah.
is at Florida State and Syracuse, we've being in Division I as an athletic trainer, what were your, as an undergrad athletic trainer at Florida State and then a grad assistant at Syracuse, what were your two separate welcome to Division I athletics moments in each location?
Yeah. Well, I guess, if we're talking about, welcome on my part of, holy cow, I'm in it, right?
Right.
So let's start with Syracuse. So at one point, this sticks in my mind pretty largely. We were out there at the beginning of practice, right after the stretch, and this is when you and I were first years.
Okay.
And Jeremy was in charge at the time.
Right.
No, Jason.
Jay.
Sorry,
Right.
Jason. Yeah, Jay was in charge, and he told me to go give water to the quarterbacks. Now, mind you, they aren't doing anything stressful at this time. Nothing, right? So I go running over, right?
This is RJ, right? That was
RJ, yep, RJ Anderson,
Perry.
Perry's there, and
Hale? Was Hale there? Hale wasn't there, was he?
Hale there.
Was his freshman year, our second year?
I can't remember if that. Yeah, that
Are these
had
the
to have been-
quarterbacks?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Never heard of any of them.
Exactly.
Oh no, it wasn't Hale. It was Daryl.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The fullback /
Just quarterback, right?
Yeah. But I go running over there, and apparently, I ran in through a drill. And it must have been imaginary because I didn't see it. And I remember Coach Pasqualoni going, "God damn it, get out of the drill!" with the frickin' water. And yeah, so that was a wake up call. I don't think I did anything right from the moment I got there
No, none of us did.
to the end of my first year, and then my second year I thought I couldn't get any worse, and it did. Because then I was in a leadership role with you boneheads. But at Florida State, I'd say my welcome to Division I was like everybody assumes like all the facilities are like the nicest of the nice, right? And Florida State, they were almost a little behind. They built everything. They've built 3 times over since I left. But before that, they had pretty original facilities from like the early 90s. And I remember we had this juicer, right? This is what we called it. But basically, it was just like 2 canisters of Powerade, right? We don't use Gatorade there because you don't say the word Gator.
Right.
Well, I was in charge of the
Hooper's a Gator fan here.
I am a Gator fan.
Well, I'm sorry.
Listen, it all went downhill once Tebow left. It all just,
Yeah, absolutely. And it went downhill the minute Bowden was forced off the field. But so we're there, and that juicer gets all clogged up. I don't know why. The thing was like older than me.
Yeah.
And why we're using this thing, I have no clue. And I get reamed out by a graduate assistant trainer there. Right? Now, mind you, I'm that peon level a year later. And I still didn't have the power that this kid had.
Right.
To ream me out. And I just thought to myself, we're literally talking about Powerade here. Like, we had coolers full of it in addition. I mean, and it was just like that. It was that microcosm that made me think, this is how amped up everything gets.
Right.
Over something like a game that I really loved, right? Yeah. But at the time, I was like, I hate this.
Right.
I wanted nothing more than to get out of that.
We got to get you on a show with Rebar.
Oh God.
You got to hear his. He played for Coach P in the early to mid 90s. He does the Coach P voice perfectly. I'm talking
his stuff is like the stories he would tell.
Yeah. So when he gets in a room, if you don't hear him, if you don't see him coming, or you have your eyes closed, and he talks like Coach P, it's a flashback to 2003, 2004. Like PTSD flashbacks. You got to hear it.
I do have to say, one of the funniest coaches I've ever heard, though, is Mickey Andrews.
Okay.
So do you remember him at all?
Yeah, he's Florida State, right?
Yeah, he was the defensive coordinator, longtime defensive coordinator, and he was a tough Southern guy, Alabama guy. He played for Bear Bryant, and he could string together some insults real quick and without swearing. And we had this one guy. He was a defensive tackle, and you know how we get a lot of defensive tackles and ends that come to Florida State and are real good. And we had this guy, Travis Johnson, right? And the defense had just given up like a bunch of scores in like the red zone drill in practice. And he's undressing people. And I remember he gets to Travis Johnson, and he goes, and he's like, boy, he's like, I'll tell you what, you were supposed to be the newest thing since sliced bread around here, but you ain't done shit since. And that, you're talking about a guy who's a 6'4", 275-pound guy, literally turned into the letter C. He deflated so much. Like,
go ahead.
So, based on you guys worked together at Syracuse, is that?
Oh my God, we lived together too.
together.
Okay, so you have to have some good Tom stories, huh? Have to.
I can't wait to hear these.
You have to. So like, give me your
boy,
two.
do I have good
Your 1,
Now,
2,
easy
3
now.
best. You know.
The two best.
Yeah, give
All
us
right,
your two
so-
best Tom stories.
All right, so the
I
first
know where he's going too. Go ahead.
the first one I actually just told the other day. So we're getting like a sports medicine group photo.
I knew this is where you were going. You're such an asshole.
So we're all there except for Tom. Tom was helping out with something else, but we're waiting for him, right? And we're standing all there. We're all in a pose, and Tim's going, "God damn it, where the hell's Tom at?" And he's like, and then all of a sudden you hear "Did-doo," and you hear the door to the dome shut, and you see
The
Tom
vapor lock door.
He's running full speed, and he goes. All of a sudden, our boss goes, "Tom, slow down! Jesus Christ, you're gonna hit the top of the dome." He thought he was gonna. He goes, "I thought you were gonna fly away with those goddamn ears of yours." we all were laughing so hard, and it was so hard because you knew you were next.
right. You can't laugh because you're gonna get killed.
You knew you were next, but and then probably
You're a dick.
I have trouble remembering exactly who was always on the trips, but which trips did you go the first year with me, Tommy?
Oh man, I think I
Did
buried
you go to
these.
North Carolina?
No, God, no. I got yelled at North Carolina, and I never even made the trip. When you guys
All right,
got
did
back,
you-
I was in the room when we got killed over it.
Did you go to West Virginia with me?
West Virginia, was that our first year? That was the night we were on Thursday night, and
Yeah.
Walt and Damien were sick. If that's the trip
Yeah.
you're talking about,
Yes.
okay.
And
Was that with the
So-
Tylenol and the ibuprofen?
well, it's even better than this. So
Oh Jesus!
we're in the training room, and mind you, we have to go through probably about, I think it was 4 or 5 trunks full of everything you could think of, right? Like medicines, braces, slings, just name something and we had it, right? And we're in the training room and everybody's all taped up, but we're just doing some finishing touches. And all of a sudden our strength coach comes up to us and he's looking, I see him pilfering through the trunks, and he goes, hey Tim, where's the leave?
Oh,
And Tim's like, it's right in the top shelf there, coach. And then he goes, well, I found the bottle, but it only has 6 in it, and I take 8. I'm like, what the? And Tim goes, he looks over at me and he's like, that's a mistake. And I'm like, son of a bitch. And I look over at these guys and I'm like, God damn you guys. Like, I with my mouth, I go, who checked the lead? And these guys all of a sudden go, I got to go out to the field. And they left me out there. And that's just the beginning of how disastrous this went. So we get, the place is rocking. And, West Virginia gets nuts, and you're really close to the fans. And we go down with, we were
they're firing soda bottles at you.
What year is
It's
this?
probably mid-season, right?
What year is this? When they were legit,
03?
with Pat?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Pat White.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah. This is legit West Virginia, and we were decent, but not great.
Right.
And we have 3 guys go down with knee injuries, but not bad knee injuries, just sort of
They're just
nicked up.
tweaked, right.
So
Yeah.
kind of like my knee injury.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So of course, every one of them is a large knee sleeve with bracing. Well,
They all needed to
then
wear
a
one.
4th one goes down, and we go run, and we're looking at the trunk, and Tim's going, where's the large knee sleeves? Tim, we have 3 of them out there. God damn it. What do you mean we only have 3? And I'm like, what? Only have 3? Like, how? And he's like, that's another mistake. And I'm like, Jesus. So we're running in there, and Troy's like, I think we got another one in this other trunk. And he's yelling at me as we're going in. And I'm like, my ulcer is like in full throttle here. So we're looking for knee sleeves. We come back out. We lose the game. And then we're going home, and we're all like trying to like eat a sandwich on the plane. I think I barfed it up after because I was so sick to my stomach from getting
indigestion, right?
Yeah. And then we get yelled at when we get to the building, and it's like, what time is it when we get back? Like,
Oh my God! It was an 8 o'clock, or it was a Thursday night college football game.
Yeah.
yeah. It was
So
like
2 in the morning, 3 in
2
the morning.
We're getting yelled at. We're getting yelled at. This is poor planning, gentlemen. How could you only bring 3 knee sleeves?
The best part of that was it was like you said, you would travel with 4 or 5 trunks. Every trunk had a drawer. Everything, it was like an oversized tackle box, right?
Yeah,
Everything's labeled. There's a binder, like a leave. Like there better be 12 pills in that when we put it on the tractor trailer to go away, right?
Stark contrast from now, where you show up with a tin of ice and a couple Band-Aids.
Right.
You know who you guys needed?
Huh.
Bob Santagato.
Absolutely. So they would make us. So they would make us check off. Like, okay, listen. Like it'd be the 3 of us working on this kit. Like he said, because he turned around to us and goes, "Who checked off the Aleve?" Because you had to basically initial.
It was you.
Oh, there's 12. There's 13. There's 3 knee braces. There's 3. Right?
Was it a TN on the Aleve? Definitely a TN.
I don't know.
Definitely.
It could have been. But here's the best part of that story, though. The one thing I remember, 2 things I remember, were holding IV fluids, our star running back, and he roomed with the backup running back. Our star running back had the flu, essentially, right? Throwing up shit and everything. And we're on the road, and we come with cases of IVs, right? Doc's with us. Doc comes in his room. Now, we traveled there Wednesday night, slept over. You had all day Thursday to get ready for the game and travel over to the stadium. So Walt's in the bed. He can't get out of bed. He won't go eat. He won't go to meetings. He won't do anything. So and you're playing Division I football, bud. You're going to play tonight, right?
Yeah.
Or we're doing everything we could to not tell Coach Pasqualoni that he's out, right? So we had to take like 20-minute turns while he's laying in his bed watching ESPN or whatever the hell else he's watching, right? While he's got an IV, because you go to hospital, there's an IV stand. We didn't have a stand on the road.
So you're just holding
So
it
I
up.
hold it like this while Walt's getting his IV, right?
How did that make you feel?
It was actually, honestly, though, it was really fun because these guys were a blast to hang around with.
Okay.
When you got them in those scenarios and those situations. So, there were a bunch of guys kind of like Rebar, the defensive lineman.
Yeah.
Like we had Christian Ferrara, Josh Thomas, these guys, right? They would call you everything under the sun to try to embarrass you or make you feel uncomfortable or just get under your skin, right? But these guys were cool. They wanted, it was fun hanging out with them. But then the other part was, remember days after that trip, Sweet? What happened to Tim with the van driver?
Oh yeah, he said that he had said stuff about him, right?
Yeah, that he was calling him like pretty much redneck
Simple
West Virginia, just hammering the guy, right? Now, in all seriousness, we all took a van from the hotel to the stadium. We're in the van with Tim, and Tim sat shotgun with the guy, right? And he talked, and he was nice. He wasn't, there was no exchange whatsoever like that. Like it was totally false, right? But then they like Jake and Kraut Hamill, these guys, we all had to get essentially interviewed because this guy made this allegation against him, and all I could remember is how bad's the Aleve. How bad's knee braces? You know? But
you help me out, I help you out.
yeah,
Well-
you're yelling at me about a leave.
And one of the things, Tom, that I want them to understand is, so normally we'd stay at I'd say like a 4-star,
Yeah.
like a Hilton, or like nothing like crazy, because the basketball plays at stays at 5 stars.
Uh-huh.
The football team, because they need so many rooms, stays at 4, right?
Right.
Well, West Virginia, you don't stay in Morgantown.
Right.
You stay way outside of Morgantown, which means we were at the equivalent of an Econo Lodge.
Yeah.
It was outdoor, like hallways. It was cold.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's flu season.
Right. Yeah,
And
it was like late October.
I remember these hotel rooms were not nice by any means.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes we'd have to have 3 of us in a room.
Yeah.
Like, this is a Division I program, and you're tenting on a room.
We're buddying up, snuggling together.
At least you guys are staying warm.
Right.
Now, granted, we wanted to be in the same room so we could talk smack
Right.
the entire time, but
Tom probably loved those trips.
Absolutely. You ate really well on these trips. I will give everybody that.
I mean, insanely well.
Explain the food. Explain the food
right.
situation. So let's say.
Yeah, because right now in high school, I'm
Right.
sneaking Smucker sandwiches out of the fridge.
So let's say Sweet. Let's say we're up at Syracuse in 03, right?
Yep.
What, today's Thursday? So let's say we're getting ready. It's Thursday night like it is now. We're going to wake up tomorrow. Tomorrow's a travel day because we're going to play a noon kickoff game in, say, Clemson on Saturday.
Yeah.
So go from we can be quiet. So go from the time we board the bus at Manly, right, until the bus pulls back in at Manly on Saturday night.
All right. So, first of all, there's going to be a pre-meal before you even get on the plane, right? So there's a meal there at Manly.
Right,
That
in the
was always
cafeteria.
first. Yep, in the cafeteria, right? And then you get on the bus, all right, and you take the short 10-minute ride to the airport. When you get on the airplane, which you don't get on through the terminal, you would like literally
Just drive up to the plane.
bus would pull right up. We'd skip security. Now, how that was a pre-9/11 thing, I have no clue. But
It was a chartered flight.
right, it was so odd. But anyways, you get on there. There's already a sandwich and something else already waiting on your seat. All right, so you got that.
Like Subway.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh.
I wish I went to Division I to do something.
Yeah. So then, as you're getting ready, like before the plane even takes off, at least one more basket of food gets brought through, right? So this could be like, some cookies, some fruits, whatever, that's coming through. Then you get up in the air. Then the hot sandwiches come out. That's going through. You get something to drink, some more Gatorades. They're like forcing fluids down you as if like we're never going to drink again.
Like we're going to play.
Like, listen. If you guys cramp up,
Oh,
they're
my
in trouble.
God.
They're in trouble. When the athletes cramp up, we're
Yeah.
So then after that, then you're like, all right, I'm pretty full. I've had 2 sandwiches. I'm good to go. Well, then the ice cream comes through.
Oh,
So they
God.
give out ice cream bars. Then by
Jeez.
the time so the ride to Clemson's probably only about an hour and a half. So then you're landing. You get on a bus. Sometimes you go to the walkthrough, which was a joke because it was literally you walking through the stadium. Nothing
Right.
crazy. Then you'd bus to dinner.
And you're going to like a 4-star restaurant.
Tom's
Right.
Tom's pretty
Ruth's
much
Chris.
drooling right now,
Yeah.
reminiscing about it and having you describe it.
Ruth's Chris, Morton's.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, Morton Steakhouse, something like that.
I might go
I
back to
think
school.
At
be an
Boston
athletic trainer.
College. Yeah, Boston College, we went to legal seafood. So you'd go to any one of those, right? And so then you're coming back. Then they have more snacks that they hand out, but we'd be doing treatments at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, they'd have snacks for lights out right before bed.
Yeah, right.
Oh, my God, I wish I wish I did something.
And so then you wake up. Do you remember? Did you go to Buffalo with us?
No.
All right. So when we went to Buffalo, that was even more weird because normally Syracuse played like noon games, but that one was a night game, and we bused all the way to Buffalo, which is really odd. It was like the first bus game in forever. But that one we had like a brunch, and like it was like made to order omelets, pancakes, waffles, whatever you wanted. And then we ended up eating Wendy's on the way because they got another meal before, but we had to leave early for the stadium. But the amount of food, then you get back on after the game and you repeat the entire process.
I swear to God.
How many calories are they packing you full? Like 8,000?
Probably.
Jesus.
Probably like 2,500 to 3,000.
Right. Like
Yeah.
Like and let's not forget the time frame. So you got on the bus at Manly, right, to go to the airport in Syracuse at maybe like 2:00, maybe noon, right? You traveled, got up the next day, played at noon, game's over by 4:30. Your wheel's up within an hour. You're eating on the plane back. You land, and now you got 10-minute bus ride back to the field house, and you got another something on the bus, right? And you're probably back in bed. You might have been gone for 30 hours, and you've had like 8 meals.
Now your nutrition choices at the school make sense.
Yes,
Subway, because you're so used to having the
I think
Subway
I'm
sandwich
traveling.
waiting on you, and McDonald's just
I
for
mean,
when you guys couldn't get that meal and you were going.
I'll give you the McDonald's one. Here's a good McDonald's one. So I was traveling with Indiana basketball my senior year, right? And I forget why we were in like Sweet said, very rare did you take a bus trip. Typically you flew everywhere, right? And we were on a bus ride. It might have been up at Purdue. And Purdue was maybe like a 3-hour bus ride, right? So we're coming back, and the guys want to stop and eat, and they want to go to McDonald's, right? Well, you're driving through the state of Indiana with the Indiana basketball team. They're not letting the kids off the bus because you're never getting back on the bus, right? When you just roll into a random McDonald's at any town in Indiana, right? So who has to go out into McDonald's and carry bags out? Me and a bunch of managers. And we legit would just walk in, like 2 or 3 of us. We would like 35 McChickens. Now, my head trainer was the director of basketball operations, so he was in charge of travel and all that kind of stuff. So he was the one. He turned to me and go, "You're going in there. Here's a credit card. We need 35 McChickens, a couple, 12 fish fillets or whatever, right?" I'm going, "Are you serious? Like, I'm going to go in here and order this?"
I wouldn't even ask twice.
Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Like,
I'm sitting here going, we're traveling with the Indiana Hoosiers, and I'm going to have a McChicken.
I remember I was young. I remember going to Price Chopper the one night with my dad.
Uh-huh.
And for some reason, we saw Syracuse basketball players in Price Chopper getting food.
Yeah. It's
just
the perfect stop. While I was up at Syracuse, I traveled with lacrosse. And during the lacrosse playoffs, like we went to Baltimore at Raven Stadium was the Final Four. Scranton is pretty much
halfway point.
Almost a halfway point to a lot of these trips, but also if you're not getting into Scranton, then your next stop is Philadelphia, really, before you're into Baltimore and stuff. So those guys could roll through here any minute.
It was so crazy because I probably was begging my dad for ice cream or something, and he got pissed at me.
Or 2 or 3.
And I probably called my mom when she was working, and she yelled at him, and then we went to Price Chopper.
And you're like, oh, there's Syracuse basketball.
So Sweet. What if one of the other guys we went to Syracuse with, Scott Parker, is he the head guy? He's the head guy now, right? He's at Oklahoma State, right, for the football team. Yep. So if Parker called you tonight and said, "Matt, I got my associate job open here with Oklahoma State football," would you take the job?
I tell him to get bent.
Why?
Because I have been roasted from that lifestyle. So what's funny, right? And Tom, you can attest to this, right? The guys that work the hardest throughout our graduate assistantship are no longer
in
part of
Division
that.
One sports, right?
Yeah, and the guys who were like the laid back, like
Yeah, nothing
they'd
bothered
watch you
them.
get in trouble
Right.
because they didn't do something. They are now the head guys. Like we got one guy, he's the head of Minnesota football, and one's the head of Oklahoma State. Yeah.
And you're
Yeah,
in Syracuse, and I'm hanging out in Scranton.
Yeah.
And
I-
O'Keefe's.
You have a podcast.
I do have a
You have a
podcast.
podcast.
I do have a podcast. I'm one up on them.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you rather be Oklahoma State, Syracuse, where was the other one?
Minnesota.
Minnesota, or
Mid Valley with a
in
podcast.
Scranton on the back of Steve Galli's truck recording a podcast?
I've come so
And,
far.
You know, one of the things I would say is this, right? So probably anybody who's not in the know, right, would ask you, don't you want to go to the pros or, Division One? And because they think that that's like the progression, right?
Yeah.
And in all honesty, I can honestly tell you that I'm a better athletic trainer than probably 50% of those guys that are in that. And I say that in all honesty, not just being conceited.
Yeah,
And
100%.
I've had time to get better.
Right.
Like I've seen other things, right? Like I've been able to work in a clinic. I've been able to teach. I've done all these different things. And these guys, like, it's funny because I had an athlete that came to me from the Oakland Raiders, right? Which, all right, Oakland Raiders are a little bit of a dumpster fire in itself, but
It wasn't Johnny, was it? Morant?
no, it wasn't him. No, it was a local guy, and he came to me with an ankle injury, right? And we're not talking about like an acute ankle injury, like hurt it on his own, like hurt it during the season, and because he was like third on the depth chart, didn't sort of get the care that he needed.
Yep.
And I'm not talking about anything special here, right? Like I love when guys are like, oh, you do all these fancy things. Like I literally worked on balance, some mobilization with him, some basic stretching, and then just got the strength back in his full leg, right? And it was unbelievable. This is a guy who was an NFL running back, right?
Yeah.
And wasn't taken care of
Right.
by the team.
That's exactly. I think the last show we had was Evan, right?
2 shows.
2 shows ago. So Evan Prawl, he's a kid from. He was one of my. He's one of my buddies, my brother's best friends, here in Scranton, and he played for the. He had some time with the Arizona Cardinals, and he got on the practice squad with the New York Jets. And he had a really bad ankle sprain out in New York that they just, like you said, it's exactly this. They didn't take care of it. They just let him continue to play. Eventually couldn't do anything, and they just cut him, and his ankle was a mess. And he came home, and I was one of his first phone calls to take care of his ankle then when he got back, and it was an absolute disaster how bad it was.
Well, just think about our time, Tom. What was the big priority with our athletes? It wasn't to get them better. It was
Get them to play.
back playing.
Right. Yeah. So what's your biggest or what's your best memory of that just get back to play moment without getting into names, obviously?
Well, I mean, we had that one where we had our tailback that one time. I mean, he wasn't able to practice for a long while. He had a lower leg injury, which to this day I'm still not sure what it was.
Yeah.
But it was the last game of the year, and he ended up setting, I believe, a rushing record for that day.
Yeah.
And we used some very unconventional methods to get him back. But I'm not sure we ever got him better, right? Like,
Right.
We used medications, obviously prescribed by a physician. We used iontophoresis, I think. It was the only time I saw us use that there.
Yeah.
Like a patch.
Right.
and then we did some like funky taping, but I don't know that taping was anything we had done before that. So
Yeah.
it was definitely one of the more unconventional. Like all of a sudden they do really well, but you just wonder because like remember when we were in school, remember what the most popular anti-inflammatory was?
Mobic?
That's no longer around.
Mobic? We use
No,
Mobic. Indocin? Huh?
Vioxx.
Oh, yeah, Vioxx, right.
So Vioxx was an anti-inflammatory that was created in order to help with stomach ulcers.
Huh.
So
Which we needed.
Right. Like it obviously would. Yeah, we needed something. But that actually, just to digress here, that brings me to my second Tommy story.
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
So Tommy, he's in a full ulcer. I'm not even sure he had a stomach by this point. He was like withering away to about like $1.15. Like this kid, like his wife's pregnant. He's living with me. That's enough to make you want to drink. And we're like, he's trying to figure out what to do. And I remember he's getting up, listening to these sad ass country songs every morning.
This is coming from the guy that blasts Metallica at 6 a.m. going into work.
Well, yeah, some of us
In
need
his truck.
coffee.
And you're sitting there listening to Brooks and Dunn, Neon Moon.
Right.
What
And
years?
like
I want to know.
to when tough little boys grow up to be dads.
Yeah, he's definitely. I think he still jams out to that song.
Oh, wow.
Like I think he went through a box of Kleenexes listening to his morning routine.
I'm gonna start playing that one day.
I mean,
You're hilarious.
we had a great time. I couldn't have
We had
picked
a
a better
blast.
roommate, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Go ahead. Were you still talking about Tommy? Because I have a question before I forget about it.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Before you got on the Tom story, you were talking about like obviously Division I football. I mean that's what it is. Like you're trying to get guys back on the field, especially if they're your starters, whatever. So to you, is it like one of those things? Like what is your approach? Like okay, we need to get them on the field now, and then season's over. Like let's fix it. Like whatever the issue is. Like all right, do what we need to do to get them on the field. Season's over. All right, let's do what we need to do so this isn't an issue going forward.
Yeah, I think now I have a little bit more of a different approach now that I've seen the clinical side of things, like being in the clinic, working in the physical therapy clinic. I think I definitely agree. Like anything soft tissue, I'm willing to gamble with, as long as they're in it, their parents are good, everybody's good with that. However, I would say now, I'm a lot more reluctant, anything to deal with the head, the spine, or anything like that just doesn't seem like it's even healing at all,
Yeah.
Like I deal now a lot with, I do some consulting on the side with athletes that are coming off injury. And a lot of times what I have to deal with is, and it's not even like crazy parents per se, it's more so, like the kids have been like so programmed to like, well, I got to do practice, right? And I'm like, yeah, but what you really need to do is gain strength back, right? That strength conditioning. And I feel like that's sort of thrown out the window. They're like, yeah, but we're going to have to work around the 4 times at practice. And I'm like, listen, if they can't practice well, what are we practicing?
Mm-hmm.
And so my answer to you, the long-winded answer would be, I would get somebody back on the field if I felt like it was something they could never reproduce again. Like, for instance, if they're never going to have an opportunity to go to a bowl game again, or, you got a playoff game and you're really like, it means something more than anything to you, but the risks don't outweigh the reward, you're not worried about ripping up someone's knee.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I think, I know it's hard to explain, but I would say that most of the time it's one of those things where I go, are you hurt or are you injured, right? Like, I think everybody's hurt, but not everybody's injured.
Yeah.
And you always know that because I always tell them, all right, if it's really hurting you, can you play? And they're like, yeah. And then you see them run off and you're like, all right, they're fine. And I go, listen, I come tell them the next time, if you're really hurt, I need you to come see me right after your group is off the field, whether it's offense or defense. And if they don't come see me, and they especially don't come and see me after the game, I'm like, all right, it's not as bad as what we thought it was, But generally speaking, if they're not even willing to walk around, I've always tried to keep them walking around. The last thing I do is tell them to sit on the bench.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
it's never going to go back in after that.
Yeah. Well, now, was he was Matt here during the baseball season when we had the Tommy John Facebook posts? Was it Matt the one? Was he the one that was
No. You commented on Don's father, I think.
Didn't he call? He called you, right? You talked to him the one day.
Yeah, remember we did the Tommy John podcast, and these guys put something up on Facebook and tagged me in it. So then you got John back and forth with somebody commenting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was him.
I never had a kid blow out an ACL on my a UCL on my watch. Never. All right, how about after they left you, man? Like you're taking X-rays on their elbow. Do you know for sure?
Yeah, right. So on that do whatever it takes to play theme, right? Tell these guys the story of Perry Patterson's brace at, what was it, Virginia?
Yeah.
To kind of even just try to illustrate to them the nonsense that went on in Division I.
So he was, if I'm not mistaken, almost 2 years post ACL.
Right.
At the time. So there's no medical evidence that you need to be wearing a brace, into that period, right? And I have to tell you that we had been trying to wean him off in practice from using the brace. Now, this was not our idea. We're just peons, right? We use our brain, but we generally only spoke our own opinions to each other, not to our leadership.
Right. It would be, what would you do? What would I do? Okay, great. We're just going to do what we're told.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I got told by my superior that we need to get him out of that brace before this game. And I said, oh, okay, fine. Sounds good. And so he practices all week without that brace, right? And he comes in right before we leave on the plane, and he's like, and mind you, the equipment truck's gone. So he goes, you got that brace of mine? And Tim goes, Perry, you don't need the brace. It's unnecessary. You're going to be fine. All right. I'm good. So I'm thinking everything's settled. So we get on that plane. We have that amazing meal. And then I think I had to room with Troy that day, didn't I?
I'm not sure because I was back in Syracuse. I didn't go on the trip.
Dude, you were always not there when stuff went
I
awful.
know. Well, that was probably the reason it went awful. I wasn't there to belly out.
So it's probably we're just getting settled. We had already eaten dinner, and I hear on my door.
He knocks,
and I'm like, and I go, it's Perry, and I go, what's up? He's like, yo, you got that brace? And I go, what brace? My ACL brace. No, I don't. No, it's back in Syracuse. And then Troy literally spins me around and goes, you didn't bring the brace? And I go, no, Tim told us we were done with it. He's like, that's a mistake. And I'm like, Jesus. I go, Tim literally told us not to bring the brace. So he calls up Tim. And then next thing we know, we're having a meeting of the minds. And Tim goes, Jack Russell, that's a mistake. how could you not bring that brace? And I go, you told me not to. Well, and then he literally says this. He goes, well, don't use your own brain. I'm literally feeling my head spinning around. I'm like, what? So next thing I know, our compadre Sean, who at the time was like lower than whale shit.
Yeah, he was picked on so bad. Like he was the whipping boy
He was
of all of us.
Were you right above him?
We all had our moments where we were the whipping boy, but
Are you talking about the head guy?
Yeah, by the head guy. Yeah.
No,
But
Tom-
Sean, what? Go ahead, Tom. What?
Tom was the second least hazed. It went Sean, me, you, and then Scott.
Right. All right. I'll take that.
Yeah. And here's why, it wasn't because Tom didn't deserve it. It's because he had this always this ability to escape at the right time.
I was very quick on my feet.
So next thing I know,
that West Side
That's right.
intuition.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, he definitely did. So next thing we know, all of a sudden, Sean is flying in. They flew him first class that night on a plane with the brace.
Carrying a brace.
He comes running in the hotel and he's like, "Hey guys, how you doing?"
I got it. Here it is.
And literally, Tim's like, "Oh, thank you so much. That's great of you. I can't believe you did this for us." And I'm going, he didn't do anything. He did nothing.
He drove to Manly, picked up a brace out of a drawer, got to the
And got
airport,
on a plane.
and flew. Right, first class.
He didn't get the meal though on the way out.
First class, he probably got a
definitely-
meal.
He definitely ate.
No, but they treated him like he was God that night for the first time ever. And I would say that might have been the turning point for him.
Yeah, that got him out of the hole.
He was out of the hole after that.
Hopefully your former Syracuse buddies listen to this, all the great stories you got going on here.
I'm telling you, if you got Sean on this call too,
Him and I go back and
It would-
forth all the
yeah.
time. Like we just, it's unbelievable.
that's a night you could twitch.
Yeah.
The three
You know-
of us about and we were there 2 years. It's not like we
You were
worked
there-
together
yeah.
for 20. We got more I have more stories back and forth about that small, brief moment of my life than I do in any aspect of my life.
It really is amazing, and it really is so fresh, like compared to everything else. It really is unbelievable. I'd say one of the biggest things being at Syracuse that we didn't get that every other Division I institute got was students. Like when we
Yeah.
were a graduate assistant, we were also the student.
Right.
We had to do everything. We cleaned, we did water, we did and more so than every other graduate assistant in the country.
Yeah, a lot of grad assistants, especially at that time, were running the show for some sports in Division I. And here
Right.
we are. We're like a sophomore undergrad student just washing water bottles and
Yep.
all the schmuck work,
Yeah.
The Bob Sancato work.
right. They were
Yeah.
glorified Bobs.
And here's the other thing, right? It didn't just stop with football. Like even
Yeah.
in season, right? So basketball starts November, October, November, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're immediately expected, like if we're done with practice, where are we expected to be, Tom?
Yeah, down in Manly in the main training room or up in the dome.
We have to be there.
Yeah.
Now, there was a double standard, right?
Oh God, yeah.
Others didn't have to be there.
Right.
Others didn't have to be there. So, yeah, it was nutty.
Yeah, it was interesting. I would.
It definitely, that's one of the reasons that I could say that, I might not have all the fancy certifications and stuff that some of the people have that are in the pro levels, but that's just because their employer paid for it, right?
Right.
But I can tell you right now, I could easily step in any one of those training staffs,
Yes.
and do a good job.
Yeah. Work circles.
Absolutely.
Would you have Dak on the field by now? Just because Hard Knocks is a big thing.
I think it's a whole different ball game right now with guys like him that have those contracts, right? like working with the third string guy is probably the same as working with a college guy, right? Like, and I have a good friend who works on one of the pro teams up here, and he talks about how like who actually does strength and conditioning with him and who doesn't, right? Everybody's required to work out, but not everybody's required to follow his program, you know?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Like Dak, he's got his own of everything, right?
Yeah.
Which makes the Deshaun Watson thing even sketchier. But
Touche.
I feel like we've talked about that. We've said the same thing.
yeah. But I mean, I bet you Dak has his own massage therapist, own
Just one.
nutritionist, own like guy like Tom Brady. I don't even know what you call that guy. I don't want to call him a doctor, but
Oh, the TB12 guy, the
yeah,
guru.
the Eastern medicine.
But they were saying
There's got to be something to it, though. Let's be serious. Like,
Sure.
it's a component. I'm not saying it's the cure-all, but
No, there's definitely something to it, but we're probably going to find out in another 10 years it's performance enhancing, right?
true.
I just got done reading a biography on.
I'm 42 and feel like I'm 84.
Wait, are we
I'm
breaking
31.
news here on this podcast?
I'm
Are we
31 and my body aches every day I wake up.
But you're still an athlete, though. You play slow pitch softball.
And I go see Tom. Tom's like my personal trainer. If I have a problem, I go see Tom.
Yeah, I mean, in the 70s, let's be honest, the Steelers and the Cowboys were using anabolic steroids. That was
Right.
It was widely known. It wasn't prohibited.
Right.
So,
I mean, hell, during baseball, during the heyday, McGuire he's doing interviews with one Androstein just right in his locker. Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
right.
So Sweet, you brought up our guy, I think you were referring to Hal, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hooper's a big strength and conditioning guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think he'd get through one of Hal's workouts?
I've never been stronger than after doing Hal's workouts. I mean, they're intense.
Give him a rundown on a workout.
Wait, is Hal the guy
Hal's the guy. Yeah.
up there
Hal's-
now?
No. Hal's with the Buffalo Bills right now.
Yeah.
He was the assistant. He was the assistant football guy, right?
Yeah.
With
Yep.
us up there when up at Syracuse when we were there. So that's how we know Hal.
And really, he was the main program builder
Right.
at the time, right?
Yeah.
Because Coach Hicks was more like the
He was the
shaking hands, kissing babies.
Yeah, he was the figurehead.
Right. Not that Coach couldn't do it, but
He got like Dwight Freeney and those guys that come back during the summers. He work out with them.
correct.
Why Hal had the players.
But yeah, Hal had the ear of the players because his philosophy was if he couldn't do it, how could he expect the players to do it? Which, geez, I mean,
God, Tom, you saw me out there pushing the prowler yesterday. That's my philosophy too. Me and Coach Hal would get along great.
well, now Hal will tell you that his body has been ravaged. I think he has 2 hip replacements now.
All right, I ain't trying to do that.
Yeah.
And he's only just turning 50, maybe.
Right.
He's like
Yeah.
Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah. The dude still looks like a chiseled specimen.
Uh-huh.
But
He's not trading Buffalo Bill gear, is he?
No.
We'll keep that story off the pod.
Wait,
So he's a chisel specimen. Hooper.
But-
Hooper on the other end.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah.
So give him Hal's workout.
Well, I mean, you literally start, I remember he started me off on, he goes, I want you to just use sandbag squats. I'm like, all right, this is easy, right? Everything's like an insane number of
Reps.
Yeah.
reps. And it's all pyramid. He'd usually have a core break in the middle of it, and his core would literally make you feel like your abdominal had just given birth. It was just really unbelievable. I mean, he had guys he got me up to actually lifting some serious weights at the time I was only, what was I there, Tommy? Maybe $140.
I was gonna say $120.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 180 pounds now.
Yo, really?
Yeah.
I remember that a couple years ago.
Yeah, Tom, what are you at? Where are you sitting at right now?
205.
Yeah,
Tom eats well at Mid Valley.
Yeah.
the McDonald's and Subway.
My body's a far cry from my Syracuse days.
Yeah, he's one ulcer away from being back to that weight.
Maybe 2.
Maybe two.
Poor guy's a mess. He can't even shoot a basketball anymore without crying about his wrist.
Yeah,
He's
true.
a mess.
True.
But I remember asking Hal his philosophy on strength and conditioning. And tell me if I'm wrong on this, Tom. He goes,
All right.
we bench, we squat, we clean.
Right.
And that was pretty much it. That's what they did. And he's evolved immensely since then.
Right.
So how long was Hal?
At Syracuse?
Was he there when Reeves was there? No.
No,
Okay.
he's not. Coach
he-
Hicks.
did
Coach,
he-
I think Hicks was.
Did he learn under? So
He learned under Coach Hicks. Yeah.
that would make sense because that's what that Syracuse program is. Squat, bench,
Yeah.
clean.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found it on Reeves. Somebody had it on the conference room in the coach's office on the table.
Yeah, because Reeves wants to do it with soccer.
I
Yeah.
heard I had asked him one time about we'll leave his name out of it, but a long time running back. I'm not even sure he's retired yet, but he's been around forever, right?
Okay.
From out of the U.
Okay. All right. I got it.
That played for the
Yeah.
Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't say that, but
Right.
He was there for a cup of coffee.
Anyway.
We got you.
anyways, one of his biggest things that he would do to keep himself going, because I don't know how this is effective, but he would literally spend an hour and a half every day on the elliptical.
Really?
I mean,
Yeah, hour and a half.
Wow.
I mean, he potentially could be a guy that has 16,000 rushing yards, and played 18 seasons, so maybe it worked for him.
Yeah,
Seems like
I mean, if you think about that, Tom, how does that even work, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you're even going by the principle of specificity, the elliptical is certainly
That's
what a
neat.
running back does.
Right. You see the 60-year-old lady down at Curves doing the same thing.
I know. I mean,
Well, I better start doing that then. I'll be at Planet Fitness doing that now.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
I know a guy that does this for
I
an
know
hour and a
a
half.
future Hall of Fame running back potentially.
potentially.
Yeah,
You're-
potentially. I mean, we don't know who you were talking about, but
You're gonna laugh at this guy. This guy's in the pros.
yeah,
Yeah.
hour and a half, no more, no less.
All right, Karen, your time's up. Let me get on this.
It's my turn.
Sir, how much
I'm playing
longer?
Eagles on Sunday.
How much longer do you have? Well, I'm at 15 minutes, so an hour 15 more.
Sir, oh, I got a softball game Monday. It's our championship, so get off that thing.
Oh, man.
So, Matt, do you ever do diagnoses over the phone? Because
Yeah,
future Hall of Fame slow pitch softball.
I had an injury.
These guys don't trust me down here.
No, I asked Tom. So I was playing. We played turkey ball.
Well, let me tell. Go
We
ahead.
were playing
go ahead.
turkey ball the one year, and I decided to dive for the first down like an idiot. And when I landed, my shoulder was hurting. I asked Tom. Tom's like, "There's nothing wrong with it." Till this day, it still hurts. I think he called me a pansy at one point.
Are you going to give me any more details?
Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I
That's-
can't really lift it much. Probably.
He wanted to know if you were my shoulder guy. I told him I had a guy that it wasn't you.
No,
He did say that. Yeah.
But I am.
You are a shoulder guy. Yeah, no. I wasn't discounting your skills.
Like it.
No. I know you're not. But I'm not the shoulder guy. I
Right.
mean, I'm not published.
Right.
But
Like I could only lift it for so long. Like throwing a softball hurts anymore.
I mean,
It could be age.
I feel like if you give him anything outside of the elliptical tip that he's going to start using, if you give him anything to get some range of motion back in his shoulder, he's going to mention you in his slow pitch softball Hall of Fame speech.
I
I
gotta say,
think.
I know this guy up in Syracuse.
Well, I mean, what have you tried?
I didn't try anything.
See, and it's me, and it's my fault.
So you could give him anything.
I did though. Like it's not as bad, but it's still. I mean, I was able to drop 30 points on Steve Hooper in the alumni game 2 years ago before COVID.
It's true.
But when I asked Tom called me a pansy.
I did.
Can you throw a ball with it, or is it not your throwing shoulder?
It's my throwing shoulder. I mean, I could
He's gonna
probably
get a diagnosis.
I could probably do a couple throws and then it hurts.
Does it hurt when you release the ball?
Yeah,
Yeah.
not good.
It's
right?
probably cuff, rotator cuff, and you probably have probably have a hooked acromion in there, which is basically like like a stalactite in a cave, So you have this little thing that pinches down into the rotator cuff. But I bet you got a cuff issue.
Oh, you're doing a lot better than Tom ever did.
You just used too many big words for him.
I have no clue. I'm gonna have to Google it later.
That's the problem.
But it's a cuff. He's
It's
got
tough.
it.
That's what I thought it was, and
Yeah,
I should
not
have
a
never.
cup.
Yeah, the Rotary Cup.
I'll be saying that. I'll be telling the guys at softball I got to catch anymore because I got
My dad calls that all the time. Rotary Cup.
the Rotary Cup. It's bothering me.
I think that's something on a lawnmower, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Tom has no clue.
Now, Tom, you said we don't trust you. I mean,
Yeah.
yesterday, just because I like to know. I mean, yesterday, 2 days ago, when I was asking about my knee.
Yeah,
And I
I
didn't even-
told you what it is.
I didn't, but how you described it,
Oh,
I
my
didn't think
God.
you were taking it serious. So I come in,
Right.
right?
Go
You
ahead.
get a little-
Ask him.
No,
ask him what
Listen,
you.
I will.
Tom's
Let
getting
me
real
explain.
mad.
Let me explain the story. So I come in, right? I've been having a little. Normally, I work through things. Been having a little knee pain, upper knee. So I come into the office down at the school. I'm like, Tom, above the knee. Like, would that be patellar tendonitis? Like above the knee? He's like, nah, typically below. I'm like, all right. Well, my knee hurts above. So like, what would that be? Looks at
What
me.
did I tell you?
He looks at you. Yeah. I don't think this is the trainer word for it.
It is.
Look, you
Sweet,
look at me,
what
you
is-
go,
Hold on. Sweet, what is it?
Fart cross sideways.
That too.
he looks at me, he goes, yeah, it's super patellar.
Suprapatellar.
Supra. Yeah, I mean, you could be quad tendon. It could actually be like a patellar tracking issue.
Now,
Oh, weird. Those are familiar phrases.
all right, well now you
More than likely, I mean, you could have actual actual, not the meniscus, but the actual coating on the bone could be scarred up a little bit in there, and I mean, who knows?
Osteochondritis.
Yeah,
probably
I mean,
this knee's bothered me since I was 16, so probably.
Well, you got to stop being on your
all right,
knees.
so
That's the
I'm going to give
problem.
you here's a tip of why Tom keeps telling
He's
you
money
guys
maker.
nothing wrong with you.
What?
Tom's telling you that there's nothing wrong with you guys because you don't listen to him. So, see, he's too close to the situation, so you don't listen. It's like my family. Like my family wants to know what's wrong with them, but really what they want is me to do the Mr. Miyagi, clap my hands, rub real fast, and
it's
do
gone.
right, exactly. They don't want to know how you actually fix it, which is going to require weeks, months, years of whatever. So
Yeah.
No, I'm a
I
big.
call
want
it my magic wand. Everybody wants the magic wand.
I don't
Yeah.
want the magic wand. I want to know what's wrong with me, what to do to fix it, so that way.
I got you.
But now I'm gonna have to
Well,
apologize to you, Tom, because I swear to you, I thought you called it super.
No, not super. Supra.
I'm like, what the hell is this? I'm like, oh, I'm like, so now hearing it in the headset, $200. So now hearing it
it's
in
clear.
$200 headsets. Now, all right, now I apologize. And I did walk that sled backwards yesterday, and I did enjoy it.
See?
Yep, I feel a little better today. Yep.
if I had to tell you something basic, you can probably do, which Tom's probably already told you, strengthen your hip, the muscles around your hip. Generally, that'll fix knee pain over time, but it is not a quick fix by any means.
That was our ACL talk, bud.
or
Or what?
wear knee pads.
Knee pads.
Knee pad. Yep.
Or sit in a chair.
Hopefully the guy's big enough or tall enough.
All right.
All right. right, we're getting off
Podcast
subject.
is another
Yeah.
podcast going
Well,
down.
right off the rails.
Unbelievable.
It's my audition.
Yeah.
So sweet.
Down
Have
to
you,
a B plus.
have you talked to O'Keefe? Our boy Shawnee?
Yeah, he tried calling me the other day, and I hit the ignore button. No,
How many times have you done that to Tom?
I talked to him last month. He's in sales. That's where his athletic training career has gone off the rails too. But he's a really good sales. He's really good.
Nice.
Yeah. But it's funny because even the principles that we were taught, right, despite all the horror stories we have of things going crazy, I think one of the things that Tom would agree with is we basically can deal with any crazy situation because we've probably, in those 2 years, we dealt with every possible craziness. Like when you think something doesn't exist and it does, you know, it's just unbelievable. So
Tell one last story.
sure.
The craziness you just talked about. What's the number one story we dealt with? What the craziest thing that happened to us up there? You know what it is. Just say it.
What are you hinting towards? It's not O'Keefe walking.
No. I'm talking like an emergency, like serious right now.
Oh, our lineman there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So heat stroke and a person in 81 degrees.
During heat at.
Yeah.
During heat act.
Actually, it was right around this time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was right around this time of year. It was about, it was in the low 80s, and we always did the wet bulb, and the actual temperature and all that stuff. And it wasn't anything where we were really, really concerned. But it was the second practice that day, I believe.
Yeah.
And so we were at the far field, as far from the field house as we could possibly be. And one of our linemen, they were doing gassers, I believe.
Yeah. I think they were running hundreds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They loved hundreds, not gassers by us. Yeah.
Right.
And our lineman, like one of our better linemen, but he was young. I think he was a freshman at the time.
Yeah, he was just on campus.
Yeah. And he goes down in the middle of the run. So we go out there, but then he gets back up.
He flops like a fish on his face.
Oh, yeah. He gets back up and sprints and falls. And so we go running out there, and we're trying to assess things, and he's like speaking gibberish. You can't really tell what he's saying. His eyes were going into the back of his head. I'll be honest with you. I was sort of glad that I dealt with it with all the people we had there because
you were the first guy to talk to him.
Yeah, I don't think it was heat stroke at first.
Yeah.
I would have thought he was like, I don't know, having a seizure or something. It just didn't appear the way we always read about it in the books, right? Or even how I saw it 5 other times when I saw heat exhaustion or syncope at Florida State. And so we start getting ice on him, and we know we got to transport him. So we call EMS, but we also are getting a cart down there. Well, we didn't have a good cart. We had, I think, wasn't that cart like a rental? Didn't we get a rental?
Yeah, it was the cart. We told them, we said it for a while that it was when we loaded the cart for practice. Yeah, it wasn't running right.
Right. So, but it was the only one that was going to fit him.
Yes.
And so we put him on it, and then Brad's on it too.
Uh-huh.
And I'm driving it, and there's a little hill to get out of the field, and I'm pushing the pedal, and we're going backwards, like back down the hill. And Tim's in the passenger seat, and he's going, step on the goddamn pedal. And I'm like, Tim, I'm pushing the pedal. And so Brad literally gets out and like channels his inner gorilla strength and pushes the cart up the hill.
Yeah. Me,
still
Brad, and Sean. I think we're pushing.
Yeah. And so we finally get up on the pavement and start moving along. And I swear to you, to this day, I don't think it results the way it did if our doctor wasn't walking up at that moment.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yep.
so, and I remember some of our staff members at the time, they were sort of, freaking out a little bit. They were getting short with us. I mean, we didn't know exactly what they wanted to do, and they weren't giving good commands. And I remember this is the one time, like, I wish we could have channeled Tim's calmness at this moment. He goes, to one of the staff members, he goes, "You guys need to calm down. You're supposed to be in control here. Let's go." And like everybody snapped into gear, and we had the IVs like unhooked and all ready to go. And the doc put them in. We had ice behind the neck and in the armpits and in the groin and all that stuff. And then I remember EMS coming up. But if it wasn't for that, he was toast.
He really was. Like we were legit. When I think back to that, we were legit machines. Like we took, like we talked about, we took our beatings by the staff, right? And there were so many of us. Like it was like an assembly line of ice bags, right? That were just trying to cool this kid down. We're back to like the Walt story in West Virginia. They had an IV. Doc started an IV in both arms. And we're out on the sidewalk with the kid on the back of the cart waiting for the ambulance, each taking turns again, holding the IV up just to get bags of fluids in them. He's throwing up everywhere. There were vomit stains on the sidewalk for months after this incident. It was the wildest thing I've ever been a part of. And then it was just when EMS came, it was just a load and go. They just transferred them over, dumped them into the back of the ambulance and took them to the hospital. And we essentially just look at each other, clean up, and go back in and take care of the other 80-some kids on the football team. And and that was one of those where it was you're walking around and you're just kind of in shock about what just occurred, Is this kid are we going to see him again? Like, that's how bad he was. And we're all looking at each other just like, I don't even know what else to do now. The other guys are showering, getting ready for dinner. And I can remember, I think it was Troy, right? That he stayed back with us. And he like got into us immediately. And he's like, yo, snap out of it because we don't know who's next. We got to be ready to handle the next case. Yeah. And that was the way, like, it was so intense that I never forget it. Like some people, I get my chops busted every once in a while because I don't get, like, a kid goes down on the field or I have people screaming, hurry, 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 come here, and Johnny, Susie, whatever. I don't go running, sprinting, like, get carried away and excited. And, and at times I'll get my chops busted that it's like, oh, hey, how about you get on the horse a little bit? But you can't think clear.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like,
It's and then on top of it, like, you go through something like that, when most other people think this is an emergency. It's not. The person's going to be all right.
Yeah.
But
I
that was
I would say the same, Tom. I don't think I'd say normal in my everyday life, I get excited about things.
Right.
But when
hence Jack Russell.
But when somebody gets hurt, I'd say I go into that sort of like slow motion mode, like, all right, just let's everybody think like, my wife's first thing she says is, would you hurry up? And I'm like, no, just let's, I'm just, like, I'm almost trying to like tell her, listen, my mind's like going through what I need to do and like almost putting it in slow motion, because that extra 5 seconds and rushing and getting your head going crazy is not worth it,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. That definitely was it. I'll have to save the Florida State story of our one linebacker there passing away.
Oh, I forgot. But
that
would be another one.
That was definitely, I would say, but the thing, I was involved. We
Yeah.
might have to cut that. Sorry.
We'll bleep out his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bleep out his name, would you?
He did make it, and he ended up playing professionally a little bit, right?
Yeah,
He got his shot in the league.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, buddy. That's a heck of a talk.
Diagnose the knee, diagnose the
Shoulder.
shoulder.
Did better than Tom did.
He'll send you a bill.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll get a referral fee.
Tom, what's your address? I'll just have him send it here.
All right.
You can take care of it.
Yeah, I'll take care. I'll pick up your bill, Steve.
Good.
All right, buddy. I appreciate taking the time and sharing some stories.
No problem, John.
Oh yeah, and if you want a good headshot, send a picture to Tom. Otherwise, I'm gonna let him find one, and he'll probably send, I imagine, the worst one for me to cut your. That's a thing on the graphic. We just have our.
We got to find your worst headshot.
Tom's is he's got a mask and the stupid headphones over his ear. It looks like an idiot. So yeah, we find the worst one. So
I covered my ears because of Tim busting my chops about flying away in the dome.
I was just gonna say something like that.
I love how you knew exactly where
I knew you were going right. It was a great. You still piss your pants to this day when you talk about it. Like, I know that's all you want to tell anybody is Tim took a shot at my big ears.
It was. I wish people could have seen the delivery, though. It was far better than I'm giving. Like, he's like, "Whoa!" He's like, "Slow down!" And I remember Tom looking behind him, like.
I think he even called me Dumbo once up there. I'm not kidding.
It was.
I appreciate it.
All right, guys.
All right,
All
bud. Take it easy.
have
All
a
right.
good one. Good talking to
Have
you.
a good one.
Take care, guys.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Now it makes sense.
What's that?
You don't rush out, right? You got to keep a clear mind. When I went down on the G dang court, you didn't even get off your ass.
Right.
I'm just like sitting there going through, like, did I just
some pride in yourself.
did I just blow my knee out? I'm not sure.
In Tom's mind, he was probably like, "Just give it up, bud."
No. His words were, "Have some pride, man. Get off the floor."
You're 30 years old. Hang it up, bud. Oh, jeez. Good thing I didn't tell my story about when I dislocated my ankle.
I thought you were gonna say when you dislocated my shoulder.
No, I separated your shoulder. There's a
No,
difference.
yeah. Separated my shoulder.
Difference. What's the difference?
$1
$1 million question.
Shoulder pops out, like, right?
In dislocation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Separation.
he cracked my bone. Yeah, yeah.
No,
collarbone.
when I'll never forget that. Like, I was playing basketball, Johnson College, All-American, no big deal.
NBD.
See, again, that's a plus in your bringing up the athletic prowess of the podcast. That's a plus in your audition column because
I was playing at Penn State Wilkes-Barre, and I made a move. Thought I rolled my ankle, got back up, went right back down. I looked down at my foot. My foot was like this. I was like, "Oh, that's not good." And from there to the hospital felt like 3 hours. And I looked at the guy in the ambulance. I said, "Could I just have some pain medicine?" He's like, "Nah, because you might need surgery." I was like, "Oh, here we go."
and look at you now. You're going to be a Hall of Famer. So
Yeah.
pitch softball.
Thank God.
Shout out Clark Bat Company.
Thank God I
Clark.
found out about my shoulder because Tom didn't do a good job today. And speaking of eating, the college stuff.
He's going to be an athletic trainer. He's trying to get into a college.
He's going to go be a film guy.
My best thing. Oh God, I'll put that on the resume. Mid Valley football, 3 years.
End zone camera.
End zone camera. No, but like the eating wise though, that was like I remember. I mean, we didn't have the big meals like you guys did, but
Yeah.
like best thing was like when we go to away games, you knew you were getting $20 a person, and you're like,
Right.
this is great.
Yeah.
Like the one game, the coach texted us. He's like, we're getting Arby's. I said, yes, this is gonna be awesome.
Give me a roast beef and cheese.
We had so much. He had bags full of. He got the 5 for 5s. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
He goes, here, Steve, take some home. I had Arby's for the whole week. Lunch for the whole week. I was like, this is great. I came home. My parents are looking at me. They're like, what are you doing with all this? I said, away game. We got food.
I can remember the one time we were in Boston for the first and second round of the NCAA tournament my senior year with Indiana. And once we were out and eliminated, we got smoked by Pitt. And
Shout out Joe Bohr.
Joe Bohr, yeah.
Bohr, JB. And the night before we were leaving, we went to the Cheesecake Factory for a team meal. Normally, leading up to that, it's a business trip, right? So all our team meals were in a secluded ballroom at a hotel, and and catered and all that, right? So now we get to go out to the Cheesecake Factory, and you're with all these. You're myself and the managers. We're with the players. Like there's the table, however long you got, 15 of us, 20 of us, and the season's over, so the gloves are off, and it legitimately it is no different than us taking
Mid-Valley,
the baseball team, the basketball
Like,
team,
I remember
wherever to a restaurant after a state playoff game.
Yeah,
It's just they're the same. It's the same mentality. You're throwing sugar packets at each other. And
I remember
ruining steaks, but you were ordering whatever the heck you wanted. It was nuts.
That's how it was. We went to, I forget the restaurant we went to, but we were somewhere in Philly or Harrisburg or something, and they took us to dinner, and it was just, after the game, we got blown out. I think some of the guys were drinking on the back of the bus before the game. It was just like, I'm like, you guys serious right now? I'm like, this is gonna be terrible.
I never experienced that in Division I athletics.
Well, this is trade school. We knew we were gonna get killed. These guys are drinking. I'm getting ready because I know what I have to do.
I'm a gamer.
I'm playing the best guy, so I'm not going up there drunk. I'm not trying to puke on the floor or anything. I'm playing the best guard. Like, I'm playing the best guy because at that time, back in my heyday, I was a little quicker.
In all seriousness, when you're playing like Johnson, are you playing other trade schools? Like what?
No, we played junior colleges. We played some junior colleges.
Oh, you were JUCO.
So the one year, I'll never forget. We played. Daryl Dawkins was the coach.
Really?
One of the nicest guys. I went out so I got injured the game before. So I went up, tried blocking a shot like an idiot. Kid took my legs out. I sprained my wrist pretty bad, so I had to sit it out.
That kept you out of commission for a while.
Oh, killed. I went up in the air, and I tried touching the backboard so my feet would somewhat stay.
You were able to touch the backboard?
But I touched rim maybe 3 times my senior year in high school.
Yikes.
Yeah. So
we're gonna have to get him on the Vertec.
No,
alumni game.
I can't jump at
The
all.
dislocated ankle.
I have my ankles are so messed up.
He's got rheumatoid arthritis you.
I do have arthritis in my right ankle.
Tom's got it in his right wrist.
But yeah. So we get the next game. ESPN's there doing a documentary on Daryl Dawkins, and he's talking to me, and I'm just staring up at him. I'm like, oh my god, this is one of the nicest guys I ever met.
Huh.
But yeah,
nicer than Hooper.
Cooler than Hooper.
Wow. So I asked nicer. I already know cooler.
I mean, Hooper's all right. I mean, the only time I hear from him is when he needs me on the podcast.
True.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I mean,
you expressed interest the other day in coming back on the podcast. So I'm like,
I want to be Tanner's replacement.
Fight him in the loading dock of FedEx.
We'll have a charity event, charity boxing match,
charity FedEx fight.
Streamed. Well, we'll do it right in the
back of the bed,
right in the gymnasium, or on the football field, broadcast live on the NFHS network.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing though. When we go out for dinner, it was just bus trips were the best trips because there's guys drinking in the back, and I'm like, oh god, this isn't gonna be good. And then
that's how you're hooked to slow pitch softball.
True. Yeah. Slow pitch, just drinking in the parking lot afterwards. Hearing the old Forge guys call us pansies for playing a 5-man infield.
Yeah. Bush League. All right, real quick. We're probably on 2.5 hours, I would imagine.
We're on 2 hours, I think, right now.
Because tomorrow is the official start of football.
Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights. Give us one of your bets. Could be West Side, Mid Valley, wherever. Just a quick one. Doesn't have to be your best, but a quick, interesting story.
About what?
About something that happened to you during Friday Night Lights. It could be anything, man.
Me personally?
Yeah, it could be your playing days. Could be your athletic direct training.
He's probably going to say being a trainer at Mid Valley because he got to meet us.
True.
Just think, he missed us.
If it weren't for that, it'd be
He
no
missed
podcast.
us.
There'd be no podcast.
We were gone by the time he got
And
there.
you'd be sleeping right now at 10:30. You'd be sleeping right now.
I'd be way passed
Yeah.
out. Oh, wow. Any Friday Night Lights story? I would have to say the days.
Your daughter coming back home.
Yeah, she's coming back home.
She's like, you guys are still out
They're
here.
still doing that
at
shit?
10:40 coming
Yeah.
home. Wow. Curfew.
So I would say it had to be when I was at West as the athletic trainer, with Hubie, McGloin, Botman, Shrive, and all those guys, and more so at the time it was because of Hubie. The guys that were coming in, and I'll never forget, Dave Wanstead was the head coach at Pitt at the time, came to the Bell game, sat 50-yard line, Memorial Stadium, right across the parking lot there, and stayed for the whole game. And Greg Schiano flew in he was at Rutgers at the time, and flew in a helicopter and landed it in at soccer practice field over there by Taco Bell there.
That's a power move.
Yeah.
It's like
Here comes a helicopter. It's landing in Memorial. Like, when
He was
do you see
who,
that?
I wonder who that is. And then Greg Schiano gets out. I'm not really trying to go to Rutgers, man.
right.
I mean,
he put the press on him, and then it worked out for him to a degree because Schiano went to Tampa Bay. He was on Tampa Bay's staff when it was Hubie's time to get a crack at the league. He got a couple. What were they like? OTA workouts and type things to try to get in, but I think that probably was my biggest memory of right now Friday Night Lights was that Bell game that year with the coaches that came in, and just to see it's Hubie, so I'd go with that.
You want to hear mine?
Yeah, let's hear yours.
All right.
Go ahead. I knew you wanted that.
Yeah, that's it. So I don't know when I'll ever be able to tell this story again.
Is it?
No, so was it 2 years ago? Coach Rebar's last season, the Dunmore game that we won. Was that that the first game of the year?
It was our second game because that year we went down to Wyoming area.
Yeah,
got
we got
smoked.
Yeah.
They won the state title that year.
Yeah,
it was a 48-0 game at the half or something.
Me, Schultes, I think a couple of us went down, and we're like, they were just.
Yeah.
Didn't they have
a
that big
massacre.
Defensive tackle that went to Penn State?
Solomon.
Yeah,
Sammy Solomon. They were loaded, and
they were good.
I never. We come off at the half, and we're just like, well, let's get back on the bus.
Yeah, it was bad.
But between Dave and the coach at Wyoming area, the locker rooms were there in that end zone, so you were near each other the whole time, and they were both really, really good about it, and it was just like, all right, man, thanks, I appreciate it. Let's just both get through this second half. Turn this into a JV game and let's get out of here and
try to
tuck
keep
our
it healthy.
tails and move on,
And
then the next week was a bye week because we were supposed to play Holy Cross. Holy Cross that year folded, and then we came into – so we took a trouncing by Wyoming area and had 2 weeks to get ready for Dunmore, and we pulled and the kids pulled it off.
So this might have been my second year doing the chains, right?
If we were in West Side right now, they'd say that's a Bobcat. Shout out, Rob.
So I show up, customary, maybe 10 minutes before game time, 15, right? Walk down. I think I'm on the chains with Sean Schultes this day.
Yeah.
You're there, I'm getting ready to go out, waiting for things to happen. National anthem. Someone pages you in, person that needs a ride down the hill. You look at me. you look at me. Cool. There's someone at the top of the hill. We go take the gator and go get them. I'm like, all right, man. Game's starting in 10 minutes. All right, I think I got time. It's just getting the gator out. I've never driven it before, but shit, I might never get to drive it again, so I'm going to take the shot.
There's so many stories that I just forget about.
So I go over to the gator. It's parked on the track. At this time, pregame, the Dunmore cheerleaders are literally doing a routine on the Mid-Valley side, like blocking the gator in. I'm like, what? Like, so I'm sitting there trying to maneuver it around. All right, I think this is how you throw it in reverse. I back it up. I'm like, I'm not trying to hit any of you. This is my first time.
Should have put the lights on.
So I finally
The Reds.
So I get to the gate, the opening,
The ambulance gate.
the ambulance gate, and sure enough, there's a car parked in front of it. Right, the ambulance is there, but there's also a car blocking it, so you can't open it. I'm like, I need this gate open. I need to get out. And the girls that are the EMTs are like, yeah, the person's probably shouldn't be parked there. I'm like, yeah, I know, I need to get out. So they're like, you want us to move the ambulance? I'm like, well, I really don't have another option here, so yes, if you don't mind. So finally, it takes me, like, I'm getting, like, they're on the field. Like, they ran out of the tunnel. They're on the field. I drive up. This person is kind of old, can't walk. Takes them maybe 2 minutes to get in the car, and I'm like, shit.
His debut was ruined on the chains.
So they get in. Phone starts ringing. Tom, where are you? I go, still bringing this person down. I'm like in the parking lot. I'm driving down. They just got in. I'm driving down. So like he runs to meet me. I get to the parking lot. He's like, just go, right? So I'm like, game already started. Kickoff is happening. Opening kick happened. He's like, just go. So I'm running across the back, the end zone farther away from the field house, running across the back of it. As that's happening, I don't remember. They did the waggle the first play, and they got someone deep.
Yeah, Furky hit Wolo with a touchdown. Yeah,
so I'm running through the back of the end zone. I look to my left. Here's Wolo running towards the end zone. I'm like, oh shit, better get out of the end zone.
I'm going on huddle when we get done and checking that video.
Yeah, and then I get to the other side. Schultes goes, where the hell were you? I'm like, I can't even describe it, man.
You're gonna see 3 people running: Wolo, Steve Hooper, and Santagato to the end zone.
Yes. And that was it.
The other one is Bob Santagato at the Western Wayne game when we had Nasir Reese. He was a transfer from New Jersey. He only played a couple games.
I think I was there that year, right?
We beat Western Wayne in overtime, and Nasir scored from like the 8-yard line to win it, and Bob's down in that far end zone on our sideline there, and he can't even do it justice, but he's dancing around, hopping, jumping, celebrating. He almost broke his ankle, jumping, lands on it, collapses, get back up, jumping on kids, anybody, right? Schultz comes running out. Schultz was on the sideline that year with Reeb, and he comes running out. Everybody's jumping on each other, fired up. And to this day, for a while, even on my phone, I don't think I have it right now, but we went back the one time after the game was over because it was all on film, his whole celebration. And when you play it, pause it, rewind it, just repeat, rewind, repeat, it's priceless.
Remember the time with him? Like, I forget what game it was. It was my first year there with Rebar, and they won one of the games, and they just took Santagato, he looked like Jesus coming off the cross, and they threw him in the shower. So, like, we're in the locker room at the end of the game. We're all fired up because we just won and stuff, and
he was in his glory.
And all of a sudden, I see them. And
Cody
I'm like,
Pikavich and all those guys, Agnatovich.
Like, he was, like, standing there like this. They're carrying him. Like, they're crowd surfing him into the bath. Like, everyone's just doing stuff, and all you see is, like, people just gathered around. He's in there just standing in the shower like this. And, like, we're all
Yo, was it that same year that Dunmore game where they beat Dunmore? Was it Dave's last year where they played Riverside at the stadium?
At the stadium, yeah.
And they were home, so you had to bring your own chain guys?
No, we were away that year. Oh, no. Dave's last year, yeah. We were the home team.
The chain guys. So, again, I'm there driving up. I leave my house. So it probably takes me about, say, I don't know, maybe 18 minutes, 15 to 18 to get to the stadium.
It was you and Schultes again. Huh?
I leave 20 minutes before the game. I leave my house 20 minutes. I need an energy drink and a protein bar. Stop at Sheets. I'm like, I'm going to be late. I'm going to be late. Hopefully kickoff is delayed. I get to the stadium. Line huge line to tickets. I call Tom, Bud, what do I do here? He's like, just go up, tell him you're with the Chains. I start walking in as the national anthem's playing. I'm just walking down the stadium steps.
Not even stopping.
I get on the field. Tom looks at me, he goes, I hate your guts. He's like, I hate your guts. I'm like, I made it. There's still 5 minutes before this thing kicks off, man.
I remember that one too. Yeah.
Yep. And now you kept calling me back to do the Chains. Here we are.
That's because he's desperate. There's no one else.
No, I'm
still
done. I
need
retired.
One person.
I retired.
If somebody's out there listening, I need Chains for next Friday.
I can't
It
work.
would be Booze. Billy Booza is your guy.
Yep. Booza's on one. I need another.
I'm moving up to the big time. You see this mic that I'm talking into? I'm talking into it. Friday nights, catch it. All Mid Valley home games on the NFHS network.
No one's going to be watching it.
Well, no, it's not for me. It's going to be for the. Did you lock in my broadcast partner yet, or?
I don't know. He didn't get back to me yet. He's supposed to get back to me.
What time's the game at?
7:00.
Okay.
Special guest one week.
I don't know. So, well, it's either going to be him or Joseph, right?
Right.
All right. So
but
it's going to be.
I need my guy Bor on the announcer.
God.
I need an announcer before a broadcaster.
Bor the voice of the Spartans now?
Yeah, trying.
Ever since, I mean. He had those 2 years when he was doing basketball when he had that voice thing, and Chuff used to be very concerned. He's like, I don't think that's good. He's like, Bor.
No, I don't. It wasn't good.
He goes, Bor should probably get that checked out.
Yeah.
Every time we'd be doing the pregame lineup, Bor doesn't sound good, man. He's like, I don't like that. He's like, I don't think it's good.
Bor.
But hey,
voice. He's the voice of the Spartans.
He is. Let's leave you with Steve. We really appreciate you.
Yes.
Coming on.
Send them off.
Save
the right way.
Yeah, save the day. No, that's an ad. That's an ad.
Edit it out.
Shoot, baby.
Nope. Hold on.
Should I tell one of my stories?
Go ahead.
Hope you were involved in this one, our junior year.
Of what?
With
high
what?
school.
No shit. But like,
I thought you meant Johnson.
No, it's only a 2-year school.
Football.
Football. We were playing Holy Cross. It was their first year.
Huh.
We decided to get the bright idea to write holy shit on our back. But it wasn't really.
It wasn't.
We had
holy
a dollar
shit.
sign, an exclamation point.
Yeah, it wasn't.
So,
but most people got the point. Yeah.
They got the point. So we decided to walk on their side. We all lined up. We're standing
at
there.
Mid Valley or over at St. Anthony's?
At Mid Valley. So we're standing there.
Wasn't well thought out.
Wasn't well thought out. I saw.
There's nowhere really to go once you get yourself over on
no,
that
we
side.
went back. They were screaming at us, taking pictures.
We just
we're
went.
We're like, whatever. We don't care. We're not thinking.
Right.
No, kids.
Smalley called me. He goes, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "What? It's not like we did anything wrong."
They just went in front of their parents and stood with the words "Holy."
So
$H exclamation point T on our backs.
Like, whatever. We didn't think it. Ed Smalley's like, well, whatever, this and that. He yelled at me. I was like, what? I didn't really care. Got yelled at by my dad. He's like, smarten up, this and that. So then, like, what was it, the next day in school?
Yeah. I'm sitting there waiting. I don't know if it's the same way now. Like, you have to sign.
Were you guys in detention?
No. You had to sign in, right, to the bathroom, so you had to sit there and wait. I don't know if it's still the same thing now.
Okay.
So there would be a teacher there. You'd sign in. It was like 2 people at a time. So I'm just sitting out there waiting.
That was probably because
up against the locker. All I see is Chad pokes his head out the door. Who? Come here. I'm like, all right, what's up, Mr. B? He's like, I got this email today. I'm like, oh yeah. He's like, is this you right here? And it's just as I see it loading up, because again, it's 2008, so the internet, it wasn't the best.
It was buffering.
It's like, and I start to see the football field. I'm like, oh boy, this ain't gonna be good. He's like, I know this is you. And he start going through, and he's like, this looks like this person, and this looks like this person. I look at him, I go, Mr. V, you got me, but I can't tell you anyone else. Like, I can't give you any other names.
Did he look at you and go, yeah, this is so-and-so, and you're like, clear as day, my face is looking at him.
Yeah. I think he's like, it's John Lubeck. I'm like, yeah. Yeah. But I look at him, I'm just looking at him with a smirk. I'm like, You know I can't give you any other names here, so I don't know what we're going to do here. He's like, you got me. Like, I'll admit to it. He's like, I can't give anyone else up, man. I don't think anything happened.
No,
so,
nothing happened.
Yeah, we didn't get detention or anything. So, all right. But
Wasn't-
now we're
wasn't well worth it then.
Yeah.
was a good story. Now we're going to send you out the right way.
All right.
Hey, this has been Chooping It Up, episode 21. We'll clean up. I'll get off the back of your tailgate.
Oh God, I'm sore.
Here comes the money.
We'll see you.
Oh, guys,
we'll see you
thanks
next
for
time.
having me. God,
Have a good
Tanner
one.
doesn't dance like that.
No,
That's right.
No, we'll see you next time. Episode 22 might be a month and a half from now. We don't know. Oh, if you like it,
We got
follow
plenty
the
of content.
podcast, share it. We appreciate you. Leave us a comment.
I think my feet fell asleep.
See you in the next one.
You're fine.
Oh, here we go.